Hello YouTube, my name is Isabella and today we're going to be doing the stay-at-home book tag. So let's get started. Now the stay-at-home book tag was created by Princess of Paperback, so I will definitely be leaving a link to the original video down below. But my entire inspiration behind doing this video, other than just doing a fun tag that's lighthearted, is I'm bored. So let's make some content. Also, it's semi-ironic that I was planning to do this because I was bored, because last week I just got the call to go back to work, and as of filming I'm now back to work, and I would do anything to not be at work right now dealing with the public. So it's funny how those things work, but that's not why we're here. Let's just get into the video. Prompt 1 says, laying in bed, name a book that you could have or did read within one sitting. And I'm choosing Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. I will never stop talking about this book. I don't think. I love this book. It took me entirely by surprise. I don't love romance, but I've been dipping my toes and reading basically one a month for a little while now and having fun with it. But Get a Life, Chloe Brown took me by surprise. I intended to read a little bit before bed, and before I knew it, I had read the whole thing. And I had to go to work the next day. I was exhausted. I felt as if I was hungover because I was just so tired the next day, but it was worth it. This book is amazing. It's so bingeable, so compelling. I definitely recommend this book. Question 2 says snacking. Name your guilty pleasure book. And I am unabashedly choosing all of Cassandra Clare's works. And I chose City of Bones because in my brain, I know it's not a well-written story, but I read the original trilogy when I was like 13, and I have such nostalgia and memories wrapped up in the series. I know the original trilogy is not great, but I still love it. It's still my favorite that she's ever done in the Shadowhunter world, which I know is a trash opinion, but I love them unabashedly. Question 3 says Netflix. Name a series you want to start. And I have so many book series that I'm dying to start. If you don't know, I have been recently getting a lot more into adult SFF, and there are so many fantasy stories that I want to dive into, but I don't own them, and I'm trying to read the books on my shelf, so it's a very annoying conundrum. But I have 2 series I'm absolutely dying to start. The first being The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. I want to read this series so badly. I just finished the Mistborn trilogy, and everyone's been talking about The Way of Kings recently because the 4th book is coming out, I believe in October or November, and I'm just excited to dive in and know what everyone is talking about. Another series I so want to get my hands on because everyone raves about it is Red Sister, or The Book of the Ancestor trilogy by Mark Lawrence. Everyone says that this is like Nevernight, but better. And I am just in the middle of reading Nevernight. I'm only like 50 pages in. And I want to see and contrast and compare. And I actually think I'll like this one better. Question 4 says Deep Clean. What is a book that has been on your TBR for ages? And for me, all of my oldest books come from like 2016. I have some earlier books from that, but those are like lifetime books, like for me to get in my lifetime. So I don't really consider them to be on my TBR like now. They're like up in a closet hidden away. They aren't on my TBR right now. This is so long-winded just to say that all of my oldest books are from 2016, and I have about maybe 20 of them left. And one of my goals this year is to read my purchases from 2016. That's all I had to say. While some of them I am a little leery on, and I'm trying to debate, like, maybe I don't want to own them anymore, and a couple of them are some Jane Austens that I'm definitely getting to by the end of this year. One book I'm very excited to still give a shot is The Dark Days Club by Alison Goodman. This is set in the Regency era, I believe, and it follows just this girl who has to team up with someone who I don't think is like, he's not like a great person, but she has to team up with him to like kill and hunt demons. I don't know. I just feel intrigued by it. I'm willing to give it a shot. It's a book that I have always considered one that I'm genuinely interested in reading, never really wanting to unhaul it. So I'll see if I like it. hopefully I do. Prompt number 5 says, Animal Crossing, name a book you purchased because of the hype. And we all know that I'm trying to restrict my purchasing this year because I want to get my TBR down, and that's like one of the best ways for me to do it because I'm a monster when it comes to buying books. Usually. As it stands, I think I've only purchased 13 books this year, which is phenomenal, but one that I have purchased because I've seen some renewed hype and just general praising of the story is Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. This is the companion, right? It's a companion to Brooded that a lot of people really liked. I read it and liked it, but like didn't love it as I was expecting to. This is a Rumpelstiltskin retelling, and a lot of people actually love it more than Uprooted. It's kind of one where the fans of hers, you either really love one or love the other. And I decided, you know what, give it a shot. I bought it from Book Outlet, so I got it for pretty cheap because I have seen so much praise for this recently on Twitter. That's what finally motivated me to actually make the purchase. Question 6 says, productivity. Name a book that had an impact on you or that you learned something from it. I'm choosing The Poet-X by Elizabeth Acevedo. This took me entirely by surprise. I listened to it in the span of one day, I think 1 or 2 days before the year was ending, and it just really took me by surprise. It had such a deep impact on me. It's actually been a really long time since I've pitched this, but it's about a 16-year-old girl named Xiomara who has learned early in life to never show weakness and to have her fierceness, her fists do the talking and impact for her. She pours over her notebook with all of her thoughts and frustrations in the world, and then she discovers the power of slam poetry. It's a novel told entirely in verse. It's a beautiful story. I highly recommend the audiobook. It had such a great, grand impact on me when I wasn't expecting it. It's a phenomenal story. I love this book, and it's definitely one I need to reread. That's something I should do. I haven't read it since 2018? The end of 2018? I can't remember things anymore. Next question says, FaceTime. Name a book you were gifted. I actually grabbed 2 because I felt like it. The first being The Merciful Crow by Margaret Owens. I refuse to just cover buy a book, but I am not ashamed to say that I made my mom do a cover buy for me. This cover is not entirely why I want to read it. I know this features a found family, people on the bottom rising up sort of trope. Shit, I can see my neighbor. Go away. No. Fuck. We have to be mowing our lawn right now. Shit. But I did ask for this because I love this cover and I didn't want to pay for it. So that's fun. And the other one I wanted to share was one of the only books, possibly the only book I've ever been gifted by a family member or friend that has not been a book I've specifically asked for. My darling friend purchased this edition of Pride and Prejudice for me for my birthday. And it was just she knows I love it. And she actually does not like the story at all, but she knows I love it, and she decided to give me a nice edition of it for my birthday. The thought of someone purchasing a book for me, putting thought into it, just made me really happy, so that's nice. I think I have to shut my window. I don't want my neighbors seeing me do this. The last question is number 8. Self-care. Name a book you've done for yourself during this very difficult time. And it took me a long time to come up with anything, which sounds terrible. The main thing I've been doing during quarantine, self-isolation, has been reading and stuff. But then I remembered that I also have been spending a great chunk of time into, hold on, let me get it. Yeah, my Switch. I also am one of those basic bitches that have been just playing Animal Crossing for hours on end. I have loved this franchise for a large majority of my life, and the fact that this came out right as the pandemic was ramping up, it felt like a blessing just for me, and I know a lot of people feel that way as well. I love Animal Crossing. The Switch is great, and I also discovered somewhat recently that I can listen to audiobooks while playing on my Switch. I'm able to do both things, and that has been a game changer. So yeah, my Switch has definitely been a self-care thing just for me. Sorry if the lighting changed My neighbors are really nosy, so I just had to shut my window, so we're just sticking with my light. I forgot to mention there's a bonus. It says, name an upcoming release that you're very excited for. Other than one of my most anticipated releases that's coming out at the end of June that I've just been so excited for and have not stopped talking about. I'm very looking forward to Axiom's End by Lindsay Ellis. This is an adult, like, low sci-fi story. I know it's sci-fi, but it takes place on Earth. And I can't remember the premise right now. I'm sorry. But Lindsay Ellis is a really good video essayist on YouTube, and she just does a phenomenal job. And ever since she's pitched this, which has been a while, so that's why I don't remember the synopsis, I've been very interested in it. I think it, if I'm remembering correctly, it is a sci-fi novel that takes place during the economic crash of 2008. I could be entirely talking out of my ass right now, but I think that's right. I'm going to talk about this right now because I feel like it. Empire of Gold is like one of my most anticipated releases. It's coming out June 30th. I cannot wait for it. We've got like just over a month to go at this point. But yesterday, as of me filming this, it was announced that Netflix has picked up the rights and is in the very early stages of adapting The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty, and I cannot tell you how exciting that was for me to hear. I love this series with my entire heart. I'm in the middle of rereading it in preparation for the final book, and when I heard that, I wanted to burst into tears, but I was on my break at work, so I had to hold it in. But it was just such a shining light and happy moment for me in the midst of having to work for the stupid public. I had to shoehorn this into a video somehow, and I have to discuss it with someone because nobody I know in real life has read this series. I'm so excited. I know there is a ton of work and like cast hasn't happened. Nothing like that has happened, but it means so much to me that they're going to do it. So that was the stay-at-home book tag, plus me rambling a whole lot about other things. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know about a book that you are incredibly excited for that's upcoming. So many authors have really been struggling right now. And I know I've been talking about not purchasing books, but there are a lot of new books that I'm so excited for that I think I'm about to drop some big money and just buy a bunch of new releases, support some authors, and I get some new and shiny pretty books. Yeah, it's probably going to happen. Again, tangent aside, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye!